Do you want to achieve freedom through a high-ticket dropshipping store? Well, that's exactly what I've done, and in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how, with 3 simple steps, you can achieve the same success. If you're new to the channel, my name is James Eardley, and I have generated an e-commerce business that's now generated those sales that you've just seen over the last 18 months or so, and I've generated 7 figures within the time that I started that primary store. And I've got a few e-commerce businesses. I also coach people through the Dropship Unlock program and with these videos to help you to achieve the exact same success. In this video, I want to give you that shortcut because there is definitely a way to approach starting high-ticket dropshipping and achieving freedom if you take the natural 3 steps that I'm going to go through in today's video. You don't have to get confused with all of the information out there. If you break it down into the simple, actionable steps that you need to take, then you have a shortcut to get into where I've got to much quicker. So step 1 to achieving your freedom for me was all about taking my goals seriously. If you don't take it seriously, then you won't get paid seriously and nothing will change in your life. I used to treat dropshipping as a bit of a hobby. And I remember I started my first store. I was selling some products from AliExpress, trying to work out how to run Facebook ads. And to be honest, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And so I didn't get paid because I wasn't taking it seriously. I was just watching a few YouTube videos, throwing a few ads up, throwing a Shopify store together, not even really trying to decide which product was going to sell best. I would just go for a product that looked good on AliExpress and I thought I could sell with a good video on Facebook ads. But it was all just trying and dabbling and just seeing if it would work. And when you're in that mindset, it will never work for you, because if people are out there that you're competing with who are taking this seriously and have got real goals towards achieving, then they're going to outperform you every day of the week. For me, it was only when I started to set serious goals that I saw serious gains. It was when I put behind me all of those burner stores that I'd created on Shopify and started to put actual research into a niche and started to write down on paper what my actual goals were with my business. So the first thing to do, because I can break down this first step into individual micro steps as well, is to first of all invest in personal development, set your ambitious goals, and then commit to those goals. Investing in personal development could just mean taking time for yourself first thing in the morning. So I know I got into a routine of meditating for like 5 minutes in the morning to get my mind right and start to take away all those heavy cluttered thoughts that you have if you don't meditate. Started to visualize what my life would look like when I achieved those goals, and I started to write down the goals that I had the night before. And it was just investing in my own personal development to make sure that I was in the best possible place to achieve my goals. The next step when we're taking our goals seriously is to actually write down and get really clear on what it is you want to achieve. And the way I did this, I've always looked at what does the lifestyle look like when I've got my business up and running. The reason I focus on the lifestyle is because that's what is the actual tangible difference to your life when you succeed. And that's going to give you a lot more emotions than simply numbers. The mistake I see a lot of people make when they put their goals together is that they just focus on what numbers they want to achieve. So they'll say, I want to get to £1 million with dropshipping over the next 12 months. And that's great, but how do we really get excited about that? £1 million is purely just a number on a screen. It's just a number in a bank account. What does that actually mean to your life? So when you have £1 million, how would you spend that? How would you invest it? Where would you live? And how would you spend your time? When you've got a clear picture of how your lifestyle actually looks, that's when you really start to visualize it and attach some serious, strong emotions to that. Because it's those strong emotions that will get you through everything else in business. So set out your ambitious, big goals for like 12 months. And also I like to have a 5-year plan as well. Just a real clear picture of where you'd like to be, because you can achieve incredible things within 5 years. And by setting yourself to a long-term time horizon, that will mean you're taking things seriously. And you won't just treat it like I did. You won't treat it like it's just a phase, like it's just a fad, a hobby. You'll treat it like it's a serious business, and then you'll get paid like a serious business. Once you've set your goals, the next thing is to actually commit to those goals. If you don't have a plan to achieve your goals, then they're not goals at all. They're just wishes. They're just dreams. Once you have your goals, then break it down into what are the actionable steps that I need to take in order to achieve those goals. So for me, I have a legend planner, and that's like a journal where it tells you how to set out your goals for the next 12 months. And then from those 12 months, it makes you break down how you're going to achieve those goals into every quarter, from those quarters into months, from those months into weeks, and those weeks into days. So you know exactly what you need to take, what step you need to take every day in order to achieve your goals. So now we're taking our goals seriously. And that's step one. We've invested in personal development. We're setting ambitious goals. We're committed to those goals, and we've got clear, actionable steps to take. What we're going to do now with steps 2 and 3 is we're going to start putting those actions into place. But you have to get step 1 done first, because if your mindset isn't in the right place, then nothing else matters. So step 2 is to get clear on your priorities and realize that everything else outside of that is completely a distraction. So what this meant for me was when I had my goals set and I realized that I was going to build a 7-figure e-commerce business, and I wanted my life to be free, where I could choose where I wanted to be in the world. Whenever I wanted to work, I could do that, and I could choose who I wanted to be with as well. When I realized that that was success for me, I then had to work out, okay, what are my priorities now and what needs to go? Because remember, whenever you say yes to a new goal or you say yes to doing something, you are also saying no to something else. I think people forget that. It's all about adding more and more to their calendar. But remember, as important as adding things to your calendar and doing the right things, it's just as important to take things away as well. So I had to add researching products, building a Shopify store, signing suppliers, and running ad campaigns as my priorities to build a successful e-commerce business. All of the distractions that I used to indulge in had to go away. Otherwise, there'd just be no space for it. So there'll be some sacrifices involved. So for me, I had to give up gaming. I used to like playing Call of Duty. It was Warzone in 2020 with my friends. That was something that had to go because I just couldn't do that. I couldn't spend that time doing it. Meeting up with friends as often, I sacrificed that because I knew I had big goals to achieve. And these are the sort of things that have to go to the wayside, for me especially. Now, this is because we have a big goal in mind, and I didn't see them as sacrifices or disappointments. Instead, I focused on what I was going to achieve by taking these actions, and then I was inspired to actually give that up, push that to one side. So whatever those distractions are for you, if there's things that don't align with actually where you want to be in a year or 5 years' time, then they go to one side, and then you just take the actions that is in line with what you really want to do with your life. You know, if you really want to be around your family and you want to build successful businesses, make sure your time is spent and allocated to doing that. Because I know there's, over the time, we just collect all these different hobbies, collect all these different distractions that don't actually get us to where we want to be. So step 1, we've got clear on our goals. Step 2, we've identified the priorities and we've removed the distractions. So step 3 is to take complete responsibility. The reason why we need to take complete responsibility is because when you take responsibility of your personal and professional circumstances, you then have all of the power over your life. So I don't know if you've heard the saying before, but they say that power follows blame. So wherever you blame, that is also what has power over you. I like to use an example of when I was in school. I was the sort of person that would always be blaming something external to me. So this is before I got into self-improvement, personal development, and I was looking at the teachers in school, and they were to blame for the grades that I was achieving. What that meant was that unless the teachers were to improve, I had no power over improving the grades that I was achieving. So I gave away all of my power to improve my situation over to the teachers because that's who I was choosing to blame. I see it a lot as well when people are in relationships, for example, and I often hear that they say that they are putting on weight because they're in a relationship and they like to go out for meals and get takeaways and watch films. And as soon as you say that, all of your power is then given away to your partner or to your circumstances. And unless your circumstances change, you're saying that there's no way that you can be more healthy. And by doing that, you're just disempowering yourself. You're just taking away your power and your control over improving your circumstances. So the thing to do, and it's not always the easiest thing to do, is to take complete responsibility over your circumstances. That's easy when you have achieved something, to say, look how great I am because I've achieved this and it was all because of me. That's easy. It's when things aren't going well and then looking at yourself and deciding that that's because of you as well. That's the difficult conversation to have. But I had to have these difficult conversations with myself when I wasn't happy with the progress and the place that I was in just a few short years ago. I was in a 9-to-5 job, feeling very unfulfilled. I dreaded the Monday morning on that Sunday night. I knew that my career path ahead of me for the next 30, 40 years was just going to be unfulfilling and not achieving the life that I wanted to live. And I had to look at myself and not blame the external circumstances that had got me to that position. I had to look at myself and decide that I was the only person that put me in that position, and therefore I'm the only person that will get me out of that position as well. Now what that did, although it was difficult at the time, is it meant that then I gave myself all of the power and responsibility to change my life. And since I gave myself that power, I was then able to control my destiny by then working hard on growing a business, improving myself, and I've seen the results because of that. So until you start taking complete responsibility, you'll always be under somebody else's control. Just remember that. So give yourself that responsibility, have the difficult conversation with yourself, and it pays off in the long run. So those are the 3 steps to freedom that I followed, and it's made a huge difference to my life. And hopefully it will make the same to yours, as long as you stay committed to those 3 steps and make those changes to your mindset and your life. I hope you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment with what types of videos you enjoy that I produce and what types of videos you'd like to see in the future. I love reading through the comments, and I'll reply to as many as I possibly can. So thank you for that. Also, if you want to get around a community of people that are building freedom using the steps I've laid out in today's video, then I do have a community that I'm building, and that's the first link in the description. So feel free to completely ignore that if you don't want to be in a community. Don't worry, it's completely free. It's not an expensive course, anything like that. You can have a look at that if it sounds interesting to you, or completely ignore it if it's not. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed the video today, and I'll catch you in the next one.